Welcome to the Copper King Mine and Railroad. Today we're going to talk about diesel locomotives and when they came to Bingham Canyon Mine. So stay tuned. Are they still running? Yeah. We're going to spend a moment here at the Copper King Mine and do some train spotting on these bridges here in back of me. Then we're going up to Bingham Canyon Mine and look at the diesels up there. And that conversion from electric motors to diesel took place in the 1970s. So that's going to be really interesting. So make sure you stay around. The diesels are coming. The mid-1970s, Bingham Canyon started testing diesel locomotives at the mine. They brought in road names from all over the country to test their motive power on the steep grades of the mine. Some of the grades were as steep as 7%. For years they had relied on their roster of electric motors. They had given them great reliable service for almost 50 years. But now it was time to change. Years earlier, they had the conversion from steam to electric power, and that took place in the late 1920s. Now they were testing diesels. Once again, we're going to rely on James Belmont, who documented this time with pictures. You can see these Rio Grande and Union Pacific locomotives up at 6190 yard. And it's kind of fun to see them right here side by side with the electric motors. They will settle on EMD's GP 39-2s, high cab, or Vista cabs. Now, these Vista cabs kind of throw people off. They have a hard time with these cabs and looking at them. Some think they're ugly and gangly, but anyway, we got used to them. Anyway, they aided in the spotting of the shovel dippers for loading both ore and waste cars. That Vista cab was 26 inches higher. Here's some great views from that cab. You can see how it helps when it keeps moving the train up to help that shovel load these cars. This 1977 Kennecott magazine, a company magazine, shows them coming to town. Then we have some great black and white photos. These are from the Don Strack collection. You can find them at utahrails.net. These new locomotives, they were equipped with high capacity air compressors for the 4% grade down to Copperton Yard. They were also fitted with a smaller fuel tank that cleared the rail top by 13 inches for the falling rocks that came off the loads. Now this was also the time I was cut back to the track gang, and I was working right next to them, so it was fun to watch and listen to these at full throttle, pulling the grades. I remember one lunchtime, a friend and I went down and crawled all over one of these diesels, and we was checking it out inside and out. Anyway, some more James Belmont pictures were taken. These were taken in 1979, and they were down in Copperton Yard now. You see them side by side with these old steeple cab electrics. That's a fun picture. And then some other pictures of them working around the mine. Now, another thing to take in consideration was the fact that the rail in the mine had been replaced from 90-pound rail to 132-pound rail for several years. So that helped with these heavier diesels. And I was part of that, replacing some of that heavier rail in the mine, so that was kind of neat. Now, some more pictures of them working the grades and getting down to that 4% down at Copperton Yards. Now, this is a quote from Gary C. Curtis. He was production foreman up there for years. And this is what he said, quote, "The new diesel locomotives were a workhorse. I think we may have been able to ship 18 to 20 loads through the 6040 tunnel, straight down the 5860/6040 switchback, and on down to CC load line with these GP39-2 locomotives. The dynamic brake really made the difference," unquote. Then here's some pictures of them working just around the mine with pulling around the jitney here and then pushing some waste material over with the snowplow. The diesel locomotives didn't have to contend with the trolley lines, so they were able to use larger shovels to load the trains in the pit. Now here's a few pictures of both electric and diesels working at the same time. But then by the late 1981s, diesel had taken over the whole pit. Now, in the mid-1980s, most of ore haulage was done through the new conveyor belt. That conveyor belt went through the old 5490 train tunnel. Now the trucks had taken over the whole mine. And the only time they used the trains is at reload stations. And so that was truck to trains. And that lasted a few more years. The last train out of the pit was March 19, 2000. And the last train at Bingham Canyon was at the Dry Fork reloading station, and that was May 30th, 2001. So that ends the trains at Bingham Canyon Mine.